the lighting kind of sucks, dude. Hello. Huh.
What's up with that lamp over there?
It don't fucking work. Fucking lamp sucks. It's alright. This is kind of a dark episode.
Yeah, it's fucking dark, man. It's fucking dark. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of had like a whole thing prepared.
Yeah.
You know, like as I was like watching the episodes of everything.
Yeah.
But then I just got done with Succession, and now I'm just like kind of frozen in shock still.
Yeah.
So Joe, if you could take the lead.
Yeah, that
What are
shit
we talking
was
about today, man?
yeah. So I wanted to talk about the Succession finale and
Yeah.
the Barry finale.
Yep.
Those were amazing, dude.
Oh wow.
What a show.
Yeah.
What a show. Well, welcome to episode 3.
Yeah. Episode 3.
Great feedback that we've been getting on the last couple episodes. So thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun filming these.
Yeah.
And
Thank you very much for like everybody, because I've also like not just online but also in person too, and like it's really cool. It's really cool hearing from y'all.
Scoot over a little bit.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. But yeah.
So yeah. Obviously, if you're a fan of the podcast or if you just started watching, we dive into spoilers. So
Yeah.
Just
Spoilers for
putting that warning out there.
spoilers for both Succession and Barry. And which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with
Flip a coin?
Succession because
Yeah. Okay.
that's the most freshest thing on your mind right now.
Yeah.
First of all, Succession is produced by Adam McKay
Mhm.
and Will Ferrell, which
And
is crazy.
primarily directed by Mark Millard. I hope I'm saying his name correctly.
Written by Jesse Armstrong,
Written by Jesse Armstrong.
who is fantastic at writing like these like business, like what else did he do? He did the Big.
I
Did he do
actually-
the Big Short?
No, Adam McKay did The Big Short. Adam McKay
Yeah, but
directed The Big Short. I don't know who. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
maybe he wrote
right.
it.
I'm saying like
Let me see.
he writes like a lot of like business shows, or not just business shows, but he also did Veep. So
Yeah.
like his timing for like his comedic timing is just so unique. 'Cause Succession is funny,
Yeah.
but it's not funny in like a typical funny. It's like situational funny,
It is.
but it's genius because you basically fall in love with these characters who you're supposed to hate.
Yeah.
I mean, these are just like pricks. They're just,
Ethically, you would hate these if you had any sort of like moral compass, or if like these are the people that you just don't root for
yeah,
at
but
all.
are they like the
ever.
top 0.5% or like?
Well, okay, so the show actually kind of takes a little bit after. It's sort of inspired by the
The Murdaws.
Murdaws, yeah.
They own News Nation
Yep, news.
or no News Corp.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
started. They're basically responsible for Fox News.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's like the inspiration of like the show that we're following. And I remember early on telling myself, I'm not really gonna shed a tear when Logan dies. I'm not really going to like be sad about it at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then episode 3 happened
Of season 4.
of season 4.
You know, it's just crazy because the whole
Yeah.
show is like hinging on his death. Like it's literally called Succession.
Yeah, from
So-
from the very first episode, you're basically given the very clear statement that Logan Roy is going to die.
Yeah. But I like the fact that despite them being total pricks and despite us knowing that he is going to die and the whole show is about who will succeed him, Brian Cox puts on this performance that makes you fall in love with him
Yeah,
and makes you sympathize with him,
yeah,
even though he's just a total fucking hard ass the whole show.
I'll be honest, man. Shows like this, shows that dive into business and all that, they don't really interest me very much. They're not the kind of shows that like normally would pull me in.
Mm-hmm.
But what made me like kind of here's the thing, when it comes to shows about rich people, I just kind of don't care, right? And so, like that, I felt that way about Succession. I felt that way about Billions, Schitt's Creek, you know. And I still haven't watched either Billions or Schitt's Creek, but I started watching Succession, and what I liked about it was it's like, oh, it's rich people abusing other rich people. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So, and it was pretty sick to see. I loved seeing the corporate power, like the corporate judo that they would do on one another, like throughout the
Yeah.
entire show. It was just,
Like everything was a play.
yeah, everything was
Everything was
play.
a chess move.
Yeah.
And I like how Succession is also a family drama. Like it's very much
Yeah.
a show surrounding business and deals and all that shit, but it's also like at its core just a family drama. And it also covers generational trauma, which is amazing.
Generational
Is that your phone?
trauma, generational wealth.
Why do you have Amber Alerts on?
I don't. I hear an Amber Alert.
Yeah.
Is that your phone?
No, fuck no. I turned that off. Fuck am I gonna do? Get in my car and go find them?
Where's the other phone?
I don't know.
The fuck? Yo.
We have the only 2 phones in the house right now. That was scary. Anyways.
Okay.
So.
Wow, derailed the whole fucking show.
Okay, so I just want to like dive into this already. So I'm gonna ask you a question before we get into kind of the bigger finale stuff. But who did you think was going to win?
Okay, so realistically, I was rooting for Kendall. Personally, I wouldn't mind if Shiv took over. I just didn't like that it was tied to her connection with Mattson. I did not like that at all. That she was basically going to use him as like an in to get.
But like starting from season 1.
Starting from season 1.
Did you think Kendall?
Starting from season 1, no, I didn't think it was Kendall. At that point, I actually thought it was Roman. I thought Roman was a good contender. You know, he's a creepy pervert, but he's also like,
he's a dog.
Yeah, he's a dog.
He's just fucking. He's like his dad.
Yeah.
Very much like his dad.
Very much like his dad. But I don't know. There were qualities about him. He was smart. He wasn't even with the company at that point. You know, like wasn't he off doing his own shit?
I think so.
Yeah, and so it's like he was a success. Outside of that company,
Logan fired Frank and put Roman in there.
Yeah.
But for season 1, I knew it wasn't gonna be Kendall. Like
No?
I knew because I knew going into watching Succession that it was a show that was based on King Lear, the Shakespearean play. And
okay.
if you're a fan of Shakespeare,
I'm not familiar with King Lear.
so if you're a fan of Shakespeare, you know that he writes tragedies. And from season 1, dude, that pilot is so good because it establishes the modus operandi of like every single character.
Yeah, it
Like
tells you who they are, what their
top
intentions
to bottom, every single character is established.
All under an hour, they get this huge ensemble of people.
Yes.
And you know who they are, where they stand, and you know you get to like all of like I think they did a really good job with maintaining like everybody's story within the ensemble of the cast. You know, like I really loved the the fucking Greg and Tom dynamic.
Oh fuck yeah!
It was the best. The way Tom would just consistently fuck with him.
The Disgusting Brothers.
The Disgusting Brothers.
But that's set up from episode 1.
Yeah.
Within the first like 10 minutes of the show, that's established.
Yeah, when he asks him like, would you kiss me?
Yeah.
Would you kiss me?
It's a whole power move. But it's so funny because you know, it being based off of Shakespeare, I knew from the get-go that Kendall was going to be the most tragic character out of all of them. And I knew that because of that, he could not be the winner.
Yeah.
So going into the series finale, on the last episode, I was like, oh shit, I guess it's going to be Kendall. And then we have that scene. It's like a 5-minute long scene where everything just turns, and Shiv basically revokes her vote for Kendall, which was probably one of the best made sequences in a long form drama that we've seen in a minute. It was and I'm saying because it's happening in a series finale.
Yeah.
It just hit so hard because this whole time you're being built up, and basically, I like to think that the series finale is kind of told from Kendall's point of view.
Yeah.
Because as the viewer, you're watching, and you're just immediately torn down.
Yeah.
And you're now having to watch someone who you never would have thought would have taken the spot. Which
and what makes it even worse is that here's the thing too. When you're watching it from Kendall's point of view, the night that they decide to give it to him, to give him the position, is probably one of the most tenderest moments between the three of them that we've seen in like a long time. We've had that several times. We had that in season 1. We had that a little bit at the end of season 3, when Kendall breaks down and he mentions the accident that happened that caused that waiter's death. And so then you're having like these like little you're given these moments basically where it's like this is times where like you feel like you can trust like the siblings, like the siblings like as an ensemble, the siblings as a unit, whenever they unite in that kind of way, like I like that that's basically presented as like a moment of trust between the three of them, right? Only for Shiv to basically use that against him when they're arguing in the last scene.
Yeah.
Like
the funniest part about that scene was she's like, "Well, you can't do it. You killed somebody."
Yeah.
And then Kendall goes, "No, I just said that." He's like, no.
Hey.
He's like, no.
No.
It was just something I said. It's just I didn't do that. That's the funniest shit.
So, yeah, and I don't know, man. Like,
which is also like, because the show's about rich people, it's like, it's also very telling in terms of how rich people view just other human beings,
how they operate.
Because he basically was like willing to, even though that's been the thing with Kendall that has been eating him since season 1, season 2.
It was at the end of season 1, right?
At the end of season 1.
Yeah.
He basically is just willing to like throw all that out just to support his goals.
Yeah.
Which was typical rich person shit.
Oh man.
So
and it's like, I don't know, 'cause so where does that leave everybody then at that point, Like
Kendall basically says, Shiv, if I feel like if I don't do this, I feel like that's it. I feel like I need to do this. So I'm assuming, things don't end up well for him. Because you got to remember, so the episode before, the penultimate episode, or whichever one was the funeral, which I think was 2 episodes prior, Kendall basically burns the bridge with his family, like his kids, his wife. Everybody. He burns that bridge. Yeah. So going into the series finale, he has nothing.
Yeah. No
like
family.
Nothing. No family.
to
no
go
friends.
home to.
But like Logan, he has the bodyguard there with him, so he at least has that one guy left, which is basically Logan's situation towards the end of his life.
Oh.
Yeah. and then you see you see Roman just kind of sitting there content because he knows that it's over, that he's done, cuz he spent like a long time basically in this fight that he didn't want to be in. And he was really tied down to this fight because he just wanted his father's approval. So he would literally do anything for his father's approval. And from the very beginning in episode 1, Roman says, "I don't want any part of this shit." That's literally what he says. He's never wanted any part of that shit, but he was suckered in because at the end of episode 1, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna replace Frank," and that's what started it all.
Yeah.
And Shiv is now a lot of her scenes with her mom in the last season were very telling because, as we know, Shiv is pregnant.
Yeah.
And she felt like maybe she wasn't going to be a good mother, or maybe she didn't want to be a mother. But in that moment, at the end, when she meets with Tom, who has just been, made to be CEO of Waystar Royco, she is basically put in the position that her mom was put in, where she's because remember her mom says, I didn't never wanted to be a mother.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have had kids.
Yeah.
And their mom is telling that to her daughter, which is like the craziest thing you can say to your daughter.
Thing you could say.
But Shiv now finds herself in that position in that SUV with Tom. Exactly how her mom basically
like that.
life played out.
And dude, it's just so fucking.
And she was working against that the whole series.
It's great. What's crazy to me, honestly, is just the feuding and the fighting between Tom and Shiv, where they got to a point where they were finally telling themselves like the truth, where they were telling themselves everything that they were wanting to tell themselves the entire fucking show.
Yep.
And only for them both to like end up in such a ironic position at the end, basically having to hold hands, like. And
so that scene where she
an empty suit too,
she puts his hand there. That was not in the script.
No,
the stage direction in terms of how she's putting her hand in Tom's, like how it's like kind of half.
Yeah,
that was all the actress's choice.
Yeah,
Sarah Snook. Which I think was just fucking genius, dude. And she does a lot of that physical acting. Like in episode 3 where Logan dies, I mean,
dude,
that's just one long scene. And when they go get her, because I watched the Vanity Fair breakdown of that scene.
Yeah.
And the director basically was like telling Kendall, why is his name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? The guy that plays Kendall.
Jeremy Strong.
He basically told him, because they're on a set with extras and shit.
Yeah.
And he basically told him, so she's going to be down there, but I'm not going to tell you where she is. So that whenever they're filming, he really is trying to look for her.
Oh, okay.
And then he tells her, he's going to come find you, and you just go from there. Yeah. And there's a, like, really subtle physical acting that she does in that scene. Like they're given a lot to work with. They're not just given words with the script. They're also given the set, and they're given the people, the stand-ins, the extras, the conversations that you could be having on the side. And then here comes Kendall Roy, and you're pulled aside to the scene, and you have to like basically she's using everything. She's using and if you go back and watch the scenes, she regresses to a childlike kind of state.
Yeah, exactly. Goes right into that little girl like where she's just saying like,
it's the first time we've heard her say daddy.
Yeah.
She says daddy.
Yeah.
And then when she first hears about it, the first thing she says was, well, no. This can't happen.
Just like a kid throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
but also like a person with power, like all her life.
Yeah.
She's been able to change everything around her in terms of like, oh, well, if I want it this way, it's going to be this way. But when someone's dying,
said, I can't have that.
I can't have that.
Yeah. I can't have that. And then also like with the, I will say like during that scene, Kendall was probably the most level-headed of them all. Yeah. But I felt like that's
because he wanted him to die.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he was always wanting his dad to die.
Pretty much. And so, when it came to Roman though, that one actually made me choke up a lot, because he was just basically like, how do you deal with, how do you reckon with having that kind of tumultuous relationship with your father, only for it to be like, okay, now like this is the last couple minutes you're probably ever gonna like be able to like get to say anything to him. What do you have to say? And he has to reconcile with the relationship he had, at the same time with having to deal with the fact that he's probably going to die.
Yep.
But maybe he's gonna be okay. You don't know. And that's the thing too about episode 3. What I love about that episode so much is that you're basically strung along with all the characters, and you don't ever see Logan. You just see Logan, lying on his back in the airplane. They're doing chest compressions. They're still doing chest compressions, phone call after phone call. Like they're just each character that's, taking it differently. Each character reacts differently. And you just see it like which each goodbye is just like as like powerful, like each goodbye is like just like it's all hitting them like a wave. You know what it felt like to me? It felt like kind of like getting phone calls, like it felt reminiscent of getting phone calls on like 9/11,
Yeah.
or like getting phone calls on like a terrible tragic day where it's like you're far away from this person. It's one of the most realistic interpretations of death, I think, because if you're not there, then what do you get? You get the phone calls.
Yeah.
And that's oftentimes how death kind of comes to us nowadays, is through phone calls. And they strung it along for close to an hour, and it was only until like you saw him getting loaded into the ambulance that you're like, well, yeah, okay, he's actually dead.
Yeah.
Like that was insane.
Yeah. So this show has been so great, and I do want to point out I was not upset that Tom got it. I knew Tom was gonna get it in season 3, or maybe it was 2. I think it might have been 3, but where he meets Kendall at the diner. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
'Cause Kendall's trying to get him on his team.
Yeah.
And Tom says, "I'm like Rasputin." Like, he actually calls himself Rasputin. And for those of you who don't know, Rasputin was a Russian, like, I don't even know what he was, but he basically
like a weirdo.
yeah, he was a weirdo. He basically like maneuvered himself into the royal family, in hopes of basically taking over.
Yeah.
It didn't end up working, but that's basically, he was an outsider. He basically maneuvered his way and became like a trusted confidant to the Russian Tsar.
Yeah.
And he also, Tom, I think, references that he Rasputin would take like what is it? He would take like poison with each meal, so that it could build up his tolerance.
It builds up, yeah.
And
like, that's
Tom
what
was basically saying that.
Yeah.
And I knew right then and there, because like I know who Rasputin was, that Tom basically is also in the running for this.
Yeah.
So when he was announced as CEO, I was like, this fucking guy.
And you know what I thought? It was okay. Here's just another caveat to like the Rasputin thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like Tom froze his eggs,
Yes.
or not his he froze his sperm.
Yes.
He froze his sperm. He froze his sperm. Well, when Tom froze his sperm, wasn't like Rasputin's dick like pickled? Like, didn't they put it in a jar?
I don't know anything about Rasputin's dick.
I think that's one of like. Well, did you go on Reddit when in high school?
Not in high school.
That's where I heard about it. I heard about it. That it was like pickled. Like they put it in a jar.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you know a lot about Rasputin, you probably would have guessed that Tom was going to get it.
Yeah.
Wow. So, all in all, what did you think of the finale? We can just kind of sum everything up here.
Shit, dude. I mean, honestly, everybody kind of got what they deserved.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. Was part of a puzzle, and the piece, was placed down in the right spot.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time they were really trying to put this piece in this piece, and it just didn't fit. Yeah. And then by the series finale, everything just fit, and the puzzle was now complete.
Out of the whole series, though, what would you say was your favorite sequence? Like your favorite, just
my favorite sequence,
or one of your favorite moments.
Oh, it'd have to be the 5-minute long scene where Shiv retracts her vote. Yeah, that was my favorite, because you just see everything just get torn to pieces.
Yeah. For me, it was Bore on the floor. That one,
I didn't understand that.
For me, what that scene kind of communicated to me was that, Logan is a guy who really can do anything that he wants.
Yeah.
His family, his close relatives, close associates, friends, people that he's known and done business with for a long time. They were all fucking involved in that weird ass game, and like they got, it, they even took the staff out. They didn't even want the staff seeing this shit.
Yeah.
And for Logan to have that kind of power, and for them to still want this kind of respect out of him, or they want to earn that kind of respect, and it's really, really poisonous, like it's really, really poisonous thing to, seek the approval of somebody like that. And I don't know, that just communicated to me that like he was a real villain,
Yeah.
And
Damn.
man, dude.
Man, if you guys haven't seen
Yeah.
Succession, watch Succession. So fucking good. So good. And if you haven't watched Succession, why are you watching this podcast? We're definitely spoiling the shit out of it for you. But anyways, the other show I wanted to talk to you about was Bill Hader's Barry.
Yep.
Oh my God. We don't have to go that deep into it because I know we've talked about it before in previous episodes. But the season finale, just what are your thoughts?
Season finale. Shit, dude. It's honestly like for me, it's almost as if like none of it mattered, because the only person that really, I guess you could say, Barry was doing it all for, in some, even if it was like a shallow kind of way, was for his kid, right? He wanted his kid to be proud of him, and his kid is proud of him, but it's all bullshit, and everything that, and even down to the whole thing with Kusino being mixed up with the Chechens and all that. I mean, that's what that's Barry's legacy, and we're never gonna know the truth.
Yeah,
and or at least the people are never gonna know the truth. It never mattered.
The series spoke a lot on pride.
Yeah.
And having too much pride and how that can get you killed. And I just want to do a quick little caveat. There's a funny Henry Winkler story where that Bill Hader was telling on one of the late night shows. He was basically saying that like they were trying to film a scene, and he was like, "Okay, Henry, in this scene, Kusino is doing this and doing this and doing this, and it's gonna be very dramatic. And are you ready for this? Like, we're gonna get going." And then Henry Winkler was like, "Yes. Now is the appropriate time to tell everyone I brought bundt cakes." And Bill Hader was like, "You were the sweetest man." Apparently Henry Winkler's like the sweetest guy.
Yeah,
and that
I believe it.
He's such, every time he's on screen I'm just like, I love him.
What do you make of everybody's ending?
I loved everybody's
the way it ended for everybody.
Sally was so prideful. That was always going to be her ending. She was never going to make it big.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
And she followed the same path as Kusino, who their pride was always going to take over no matter what.
Yeah.
And Kusino,
she's like the new Kusino.
Yeah, and his pride, exactly. His pride basically took over, and he's spending his life in prison because of that. And Barry never had that. Barry was always very selfless. Like, he was a good dude. And in the end, he was going to turn himself in. Like he was.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a complicated thing with Barry.
I think he was.
That
was his last words. I mean, his last sentence. His last set of words.
That is true. I mean, he was going to turn himself in.
Call 911, I'm going to turn myself in.
Call 911, I'm going to turn myself in. And then,
Kusino shoots him. Oh, my God. I can't imagine Henry Winkler's...
Thing is, though, is that, like, what just dampens, like, my perspective of Barry so much has to be, I think, just everything that happened in Season 3 and everything that happened in Season 4, where it's, like, not just kidnapping of Kusino, but also his treatment of Sally as well.
Yeah.
And then also thinking about it too, like even his treatment of John as well, in Season 4, like fucking him up with all those TKO vids on YouTube and shit?
I do not like the time jump.
No, you didn't.
I
like
don't
the
think
time
season
jump?
4 was a good season, like
No.
at all, dude. I hated that season.
You really didn't like it?
No, fuck no. I did not like the time jump. It just didn't make no sense to me. Like it just
what would
was.
you?
And then they didn't pay off. Like what was going on with the fucking voices in the trailer home? Like she was hearing voices. There was that weird shadow guy. Like they didn't pay any of that off. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I think
That was weird.
here's the thing. I don't want to really like do this thing where I like chalk it up to bad writing. I'd rather just kind of like figure out maybe what it was they were trying to say with that whole sequence. Scared the shit out of me first off when I actually saw it.
That was bad writing. I'm just gonna say it. It was
Yeah,
fucking bad writing. I didn't
but
give
the,
a shit
the
about.
visual of like the dude like standing behind Sally and shit.
Oh, it
like,
was
that
scary.
Yeah,
And I definitely want Bill Hader to dive into like the horror genre, but
he would.
that shit didn't make no sense, dude. The
He
time jump
should
was
do horror.
unnecessary. It was a fucking
Yeah.
cop out, basically, to get from point A to point B. Like, come up with something better, dude. Especially coming off of season 3, which was fucking
Yeah.
one of the best, in my opinion. Fucking fantastic season.
Yeah.
Nothing
And-
beats season 1, but season 3 was fantastic. Like, I fucking love season 3.
Season
They have
3
that chase scene with the
Yeah.
motorcycle. Fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. No. Everything that I loved about Barry is all in season 3. Everything that I could say like maybe I least like about Barry is maybe in season 4. But even then I was, I guess, like, for me it was just like I'm like, okay, just finish the story. Like tell me the rest of the story. You know, like and so I'm like thinking like the time jump, I didn't really think too much of it because there was a part of me that thought while I was watching the episode it all just felt very surreal. None of it felt real, you know, like a dream.
Yeah.
Until I think what it was when Sally put on the wig and she was going off to work. And then I'm thinking to myself like, okay, the wig. And then as, you know, the episode is just going on, I'm like, fuck, it's all just them repeating the same cycle.
Yep.
The same cycle. You know, Sally was repeating the cycle of abuse, you know.
Yeah.
She left Barry because, you know, he was, you know, being abusive towards her. And then only to go back to him, not only marry him, but then have a kid with him and then go on the run. And then even at the end of it, she's still
That was like a
kind of-
10-year fucking.
you know, and she's still kind of like, here's also another thing too. She felt guilty because she couldn't really find it in her heart to love John as a son, right? But
Yeah.
do you think that she changed at the end? Because I don't really think so.
No, she was the same.
Yeah, exactly. What does he say? What does she say when he tells her, "I love you, Mom"? She says like, "Do you think it was good? The performance, like she was asking about the theater,
Yeah.
you know."
She didn't give a fuck about
And
him.
so, you know, here's the thing. Sally is horrible kind of in her own way. She's never as horrible as like Barry or Fuchs or NoHo Hank. You know, she's just it's kind of a show where they're all rotten people, you know, but like I don't know. We can relate. We can relate in a way. We can relate in a way to the lesson that I guess is in the show that's pretty much about people who don't know how to learn from their mistakes, people who don't know how to change.
Yeah.
You know, Barry tried the entire show trying to change. And it was always, you know, about starting now. And man, dude, season 3 was just so fucking good though.
Yeah.
With the whole sequence on the beach.
It's
And
fantastic, dude.
Just yeah.
Yeah. So what would you rate the series? Or just what are some, you know? Yeah, what would you rate it?
What would I rate the series?
And would you recommend it?
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. I would put Barry up with like maybe the top 10 shows that I would recommend to anybody who doesn't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you want like what's it like? Somebody's like, what's a good show that I could watch? I fucking recommend it right away. That's my top 10.
Yeah.
You know,
it's easy.
It's
like
up there
20
with
minutes.
It's up there with Breaking Bad. It's up there with True Detective. It's up there with what is it? Mr. Robot. It's up there with, you know, like
It's up there.
it's that kind of good. Is that kind of good?
I always talk about it
Yeah.
to people. I always bring Barry up, and
it's an easy watch too. Only 8 episodes, 30 minutes long. They're really strict
Yeah.
about keeping it 30 minutes. You know, it hardly ever really goes over.
which I think is one of its faults, but
Yeah, yeah.
especially in season 4,
What do you see? What do you see in the future for Bill Hader?
horror,
I could definitely see him doing horror.
more horror, or another show. Actually,
He can do. I think he can do horror.
let me Google what's next for Bill Hader, 'cause I can see that. Man, dude, he's so fucking good, dude. Who knew that he was capable of this shit? So he has a project coming out called Empress of Serenity. A man grieving over his mother's death embarks on an extended cruise with his estranged father. So far, it has Bill Hader and Issa Rae.
Bill Hader and Issa Rae.
Directed by Jesse Andrews, who wrote Luca, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. And that's it. That's going to
Okay.
be...
Well, let's.
I hope he does more for HBO, though, 'cause...
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking fantastic.
No. If I was HBO, I'd be throwing so much more money at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I would actually be probably dipping into the Idol budget and probably just so I can scoop a little bit more to Bill Hader.
Yeah. Which
mean-
the Idol is, like, so horny for, like... I haven't found the reason yet. But I personally like it.
Yeah. I mean,
Because it's, like, very... it's very, like, at least with episode 1, and we'll find out. We're going to watch episode 2 here in a sec, because we do
Joe,
want to keep
can I
talking about
ask
that.
you this?
Yes.
Is there a reason, be honest, do you think that there's reason to believe that you may kind of like the Idol just because of your liking for The Weeknd?
Oh, dude, I thought you were going to say your liking for titties.
Well, that too. I mean, okay, but listen, here's the thing. Who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't like titties?
Okay.
Great, fantastic. If I was Johnny Depp, though, I'd be so upset. I would fucking kill myself. If I was Johnny Depp.
He's got other stuff he needs to worry about.
Jeez, like his teeth. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Holy shit. Start with that, yeah.
Yeah, that was bad. No, because I love The Weeknd. I love The Weeknd's music.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do too.
And this is a whole new slate for me. Now, it very well could be that it's shit. It's a shit show. It's just shit acting. But I'm infatuated with the idea of watching this show because I've never really fucking heard The Weeknd talk.
Yeah.
And now, okay, he's gonna be on a show and he's gonna act. Okay, I'm interested.
At
At least let me see. At least let me see what it's about. And
thing-
right now,
no,
go
ahead.
I just feel like the show's going one way.
Yeah.
But I feel like it also has opened the door to go this way.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see, like, where's it gonna go, you know? Because it's a very superficial story of a pop star, and they've fucking done this so many times, you know. But it's like there's this one door where I'm like there's those little subliminal things, like in the club where all those weird dudes were like kind of like there's this weird
just
like
picking apart like her crew and shit.
yeah, like there's some fucking weird shit going on here, and I
Yeah.
want to find out what that is,
Yeah.
and we will discuss what that is.
Yeah. We'll discuss it later. I don't know. I guess for me when I first watched it, here's the thing. I'm not a prude at all whatsoever, you know. If you want to show nudity in, you know, TV and movies, I don't really care, but for me, I think the fact that it was just for me, what the show was doing to me, it kind of got to a point where I was like, I felt like an old man, dude. I felt like an old man who was
Really?
like watching it on TV. I was like, hey, enough of that stuff. That's
What
enough
the
of that.
fuck?
That's enough. Cut that out now.
I like the part. Where she has cum on her face, because like that's some real shit.
Yeah.
Like, when you're a pop star like that,
Yeah.
you can go and fucking lick a donut and you're fucking front page news. You
Yeah.
can piss in a fucking mop bucket, your front page news. You can vandalize something, your front page news.
Yeah.
And there's been times where pop stars shit gets leaked, and to see that happen from like a different point of view, like the artist's point of view, is
Yeah.
kind of kind of cool to see how
It
they
is.
handle it.
It is cool.
This
It is
this
cool.
dude Dan Levy's talking about how they're subpoenaing Reddit and all this shit. Like, dude, I didn't even know that fucking happens. Like, that's crazy.
I
you know?
did think that was actually one of the more interesting things about it. Was like her PR team just kind of working like behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
like,
I did like those
I
scenes,
like that
you know,
shit,
with like
you know?
Dan Levy
And fucking Hank Azaria,
yeah. And what's the name of what's the girl's name?
Lily Rose Depp.
No, not Lily Rose. Anyway, she was just a girl on the PR team, but I saw her in some other shows.
I don't like her friend. Her friend seems like she has good intentions, but also she doesn't. Like, she's a pick me girl.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Everyone, and it's also true. It's like when you're in that world, we often see like the brighter things,
Yeah.
the brighter side of things. But when you're in that world, like everyone around you is a yes man,
yeah,
and everyone around her is a yes man. Like when she like that's the realest shit that I've ever seen in that episode was when she's sitting down. And she's like, "Do you like the song?" And she's like, "Yeah, I love the song." And then she repeats the lyrics back, and she's like, "You really like this song? Like, I mean, the lyrics are shit." And she's like, "Well."
yeah.
This is just like I would have felt really good about if the friend would have said, "Well, sometimes you got to do shit like this cuz it makes money." Because that's some real fucking shit.
Yeah.
As an artist, as an artist or whatever, like there will be times and a lot of people are like, "Oh, no, I don't fucking know." And like
as an artist as an artist who's working in the business.
yeah, it's like I'll never sell out. It's like shut the fuck up because you need to like make money.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal. Because when you're an artist of that caliber,
Yeah.
you're not like if you let someone down, you're letting like if you don't do something that like let's say you cancel a show, whatever, you're not like you're thinking about yourself, but now everyone involved is out of a job.
Yep.
And so there are things that you have to do as an artist of that caliber to where you need to make money because now. And that's why, like, Cardi B was, like... I remember Cardi B, when she first got famous, she had this famous Instagram Live where she was like, a lot of y'all bitches call yourselves bosses. Are you signing, like, payroll? Like, are you a real boss? Like, are you putting money in people's pockets?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a real boss.
Yeah.
She's like, I have this many people on my payroll. When I do a show, there's this many people that work for my event. Like, I'm a real boss. And so when you kind of just, like... If you're an artist of that caliber and you're kind of just like, oh, I don't want to be a sellout, whatever. Like, I don't think she was being a sellout. I think the music was very much her. It just the lyrics maybe weren't reflective of maybe what she would have done early on in her career.
Maybe.
And I think in that moment, I would have been like, wow, that's real. If her friend would have like maybe said that, but of course we get the superficial, you know. Oh yeah, it's good, you know, which we see a lot, and it's basically just highlighting the fact that she's just like a yes person to her. But you know, I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited to keep talking about it because it's definitely one of the most controversial shows of the year. I
intend to see why.
Yeah,
you know?
I intend to see why.
I intend to see why. That's for sure.
And I'm not like I have seen Bad Lieutenant. I have seen. A movie called Crash with James Spader. Like,
oh yeah.
Those movies like don't affect me. Like I actually kind of like that genre a little bit.
Yeah.
And so this shit is nothing to me. But if you're fucking like I don't know, prude or whatever the fuck, like you're not gonna like it. I mean, it's just flat out.
No, I think what it was for me was it was just like. It was like every scene, and so there was like I was seeing kind of like what like people were talking about, and so I was just kind of like like I was, but you know, here's the thing too. Sam Levinson is just kind of like rubbing me the wrong way continuously. You
Why?
know? I didn't really like season 2 of Euphoria.
Really?
No, I mean I liked
fucking love season 2.
The only thing that I liked about season 2 of Euphoria was the Fez. You know, storyline. I liked his whole storyline. I liked the storyline with Zendaya. But as far as everything else, it was just like I couldn't really like. I didn't really care about the like Cassie and you know all that shit. Like it wasn't really interesting to me. The Jules storyline with you know what's his
Dominic Fike.
Dominic Fike. Yeah, that whole thing. I don't know. The more I think about it and the more I like watch it, the more I realize like that's like there's more rewatchability, I guess, in season 1 for me than there is in season 2. You know, where it's like
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I could watch like every episode in season 2. I'm just much better like with like I did like the specials, you know, and I was
love
kind of
the
excited
specials.
where I was kind of excited where like the direction of the show was gonna go for Jules,
Mm-hmm.
but then they kind of just didn't really do much with their storyline,
Yeah.
And then not only that, but also I'm hearing too that we're not gonna get season 3 until 2024.
Yeah, but
And
that's
so
because of the writer's strike.
well, yeah, because of the writer's strike, But I mean,
And there's also going to
which
be
of course is expected. But
there's going to be a 5-year time jump.
yeah, and that whole thing too.
Which
And
also
so,
the Idol is set in the Euphoria universe or
Yeah.
whatever. So there'll be some crossover characters, which is kind of cool.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I like Sam Levinson because I like his direction, and I really like his attention to detail, and I like the shots that he gets. Like, he really does have an eye for great shots. And there's a couple shots in the Idol that I'm like, that's
Yeah.
the shit right there. Like, that he makes like pictures. Like,
I will say I think Sam Levinson at his best was season 2, episode 5 of Euphoria, which was when Rue and her mom were fighting that one morning, and basically like that entire episode, like that whole thing.
And then season 1, the carnival scene, because that was just that was one long thing.
Yeah,
where they did like minimal cuts. So
yeah, his best was at season 1, but
yeah.
But,
I'm very excited for this show. I'm very excited to finish it because I just want to see where it goes. Like I said, so good or
Yeah.
bad, whatever. At least we can judge it in its entirety.
yeah,
Then, so we're gonna get ready to watch episode 2 of The Idol. Thank you guys for hanging on for 3 whole episodes. We look forward to the next episode where we're going to be discussing Across the Spider-Verse, which
Yeah.
I've seen and Dave has not seen.
no, but,
But
I'll
it's
catch it
the
later on in the week.
fucking. I'm just want to say it's the
Yeah.
best superhero movie I've ever seen. So stay tuned for that one, and we will dive into a little bit of The Idol probably. But yeah, thank you guys for watching/listening, and we hope that you have a great rest of the week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.